it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my September book haul. These are all of the books that I bought on my Kindle this month. So there are 53 books to talk about, so let's just dive in. Okay, so you guys know that I'm a sucker for the monthly deals on Kindle, so the first few books that I've got on in this haul are ones that I picked up on monthly deal. The first of those is The Witch Elm by Tana French, and Tana French is a thriller writer. I think did she write the Inspector Gamache series? I think so, or is that Louise Penny? I can't remember. Anyway, she has written lots of thrillers. I have a couple of them on my Kindle. This is the most recent one that she's released, I think within the last couple of months, so I was quite surprised to see it on there, so I grabbed that. Then I picked up a copy of Catching Him by Aurora Reynolds. This is book number 1. I haven't actually written down what number it is, but it's in the How to Catch an Alpha series. I first heard about Aurora Reynolds last month and I bought her book Until November, and then this one showed up on monthly deal, so I grabbed that one. Another romance book on Kindle monthly deal was The Trouble With You by L.A. Cotton. This is book number 1 in the Rickson Raiders series. And I kind of get sports romance vibes from that, but I could be wrong. Then I picked up The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is book number 1 in the Daevabad trilogy. This is I think an adult, is it adult or YA fantasy? Well, it's a fantasy novel. It's the first book in a trilogy, and there are 2 books out at the moment. And I've heard lots of good things across a variety of different booktubers. I believe it's set in the Middle East. And it's got sort of like Middle Eastern influences in terms of like the magic system and things like that. My husband read it earlier on this year and really liked it, so I picked up a copy of that. Number 5 on this list is The Music Shop by Rachel Joyce. Is this a collection of short stories, or again this is her most recent release, so I picked up a copy of that. And then on a completely different vein, a copy of The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which is, I believe, a post-apocalyptic sort of modern classic novel. Again, one that I've had my eye on for a while. Then I've got The Italian Teacher by Tom Rachman. Rachman, I think that's how you say that. I was just intrigued by the cover with this one. I think this is some sort of a literary fiction book, but the cover really drew me in. Another sort of modern classic is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. This is a psychological thriller, I think. But yeah, again, one that I've been intrigued by for years. I've been slowly sort of picking up books by TESS GERRITSEN. So I bought The Mephisto Club by her, which is book number 6 in the Rizzoli and Isles series. That's I don't know whether it's an ongoing series, but it's one of the series that she has. Another book that's deep into a series is Dark in Death by J.D. Robb, which is book number 46 in the In Death series. I've heard really, really good things about J.D. Robb's writing, and she also writes, it's Nora Roberts writing as J.D. Robb, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. But you guys need to tell me whether I should go back and read from the beginning, or whether this is a series that I can just pick up from book number 46. I'd love to know your opinions on that in the comments below. Then I have a Mills and Boon book called The Greek's Pregnant Cinderella by Michelle Smart. This is book number 2 in the Cinderella Seduction series. Any Mills and Boon book that comes up, I'll buy it. A book by Diane Chamberlain called The Midwife's Confession. Again, I'm slowly collecting some of her books as well. She writes contemporary women's fiction books as far as I'm aware. I picked up book number 1 in the Collector series by Dot Hutchinson, which is called The Butterfly Garden. All 4 of those books were on Kindle monthly deal, and it was tempting to get all 4, but I just stuck with number 1. I think this is sort of like a thriller / mystery. Maybe there's a little bit of horror in there, I'm not really sure. A book that I'd had on my wish list is The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, which is a true crime book, and I think Karen from Rather Rereading read it within the last year, and I'm really into true crime, so I picked that one up. Then there were a few Patricia Cornwell books on Kindle monthly deal. So the first of those that I picked up was Black Notice, which is book number 10 in the Scarpetta series. I also picked up The Bone Bed, which is book number 20. just looking down my list, Port Mortuary, which is book number 18. Then what else do I have? Scarpetta, which is book number 16. And are there any others? I'm just looking down this list. No, just those ones. So that's the Patricia Cornwell books. A Danielle Steele book that I picked up this month is called Irresistible Forces. Again, I'm collecting her books as well. Then I picked up a book called Wild Crazy Hearts by Melissa Foster. This is book number 4 in the Bradens and Montgomery series, Pleasant Hill Oak Falls. I'm not really sure whereabouts this falls, but again, Melissa Foster is a contemporary romance author that I want to read more from. Then a couple of books by Jamie Beck in the Sanctuary Sound series, the first of which is The Memory of You, and the second of which is The Promise of Us. I think this is a trilogy, but books 1 and 2 were on Kindle monthly deal, so I picked those 2 up. Another Diane Chamberlain book, which is called Pretending to Dance, which is book number 1 in the Dance series. I'm not sure whether it's a sort of trilogy or a duology, which I was intrigued by because Diane Chamberlain tends to write standalone books, but there's that. Then I picked up the 4 books in the Ace Security series by Susan Stoker, which are, book number 1 is called Claiming Grace, book number 2 is called Claiming Alexis, book number 3 is called Claiming Bailey, and book number 4 is called Claiming Felicity. These are, again, I think contemporary romance books. They might be sort of like, have like a thriller, I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but like a romantic suspense, that's what I'm thinking of. I think they might have that kind of element to them, but I'm not sure. I picked up a copy of The Duff by Cody Keplinger, which again Karen from Ratherby Reading read very recently and said good things about, so I bought a copy of that. Then I bought a book called Alec by L.A. Casey. It's book number 2 in the Slater Brothers series. Again, sort of collecting contemporary romance books on my Kindle. Along with that, I got Pieces of Us by A.L. Jackson, book number 3 in their Confessions of the Heart series. Along with That Second Chance by Megan Quinn, which is book number 1 in the Getting Lucky series. Another trilogy that I picked up by J.T. Gessinger, which is the Slow Burn trilogy. So book number 1 is called Burn for You, book number 2 is called Melt for You, and book number 3 is called Ache for You. So again, all on monthly deal, couldn't resist picking up all 3. A book by Melody Ann, who I've seen sort of like floating around the romance bit of Amazon, is called Turbulent Intentions, which is book number 1 in the Billionaire Aviators series. Then I picked up book number 2 in L. Casey's Shine Not Burn series, which is called Mackenzie Fire, and I have book number 1 on my Kindle too. Then a book called Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. I heard somebody talk about this. I can't remember who it was, but I was just very intrigued by the premise of this one. It's a non-fiction book, exactly how it says in the title basically, so I thought I'd pick up a copy of that. Then I picked up another non-fiction book called The Prison Doctor by Dr. Amanda Brown. Again, that sort of medical non-fiction really intrigues me. I tend to pick up anything along those lines, so I did for that one. And then Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which is book number 1 in the Six of Crows duology. Couldn't believe that this was on Kindle monthly deal. People rave about this. I have the 3 books in the Grisha trilogy and I've read the first one of those, so I've got this one to pick up when I finish that trilogy. Then I have a book called Craving by Helen Hart, which is book number 1 in the Steele Brothers saga. I think this is another contemporary romance series. Then I have a book called Start With Why, How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action by Simon Sinek. Yeah, just a non-fiction book about being a good leader basically, and that sort of thing is really good for my job and things like that, so I thought I'd pick up a copy of that. And then All Roads Lead to You by Jennifer Probst, which is book number 3 in the Stay series, and another contemporary romance series. Then I've got Hard Pushed, a midwife story by Leah Hazard. Again, another non-fiction medical book. Really intrigued by all of these books that have come out about different jobs within, you know, public service professions. I've got Never Greener by Ruth Jones. Ruth Jones is a sort of British presenter, TV presenter. I think this is her first fiction book, so I was intrigued by that. Then I have Filthy Gods by R. Scarlett, which is book 0.5 in the American Gods series. And then Resist by K. Bromberg, which is book number 1 in the Wicked Ways series. A book that I picked up on Kindle Daily Deal was Warlight by Michael Ondaatje, which was nominated for, I think the Man Booker this year, and people had some good things to say about that. Then I've got Drive Me Wild by Julie KRISS, which is book number 1 in the Riggs Brothers series. Another book that came up on Daily Deal was Circe by Madeline Biller. So yeah, again, couldn't believe that, so I picked up a copy of that on my Kindle. Along with Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. This was a book that lots of people were talking about on BookTube last year and saying really good things about. It's sort of like a literary fiction book, so I picked up that. Then I picked up a copy of Halloween Boo by Sarah Spade. This is actually on my October TBR. The cover is just fantastic, and I said in my October TBR that people on Twitter were talking about this book and sort of, yeah, raving about how great the cover was and then how great the book was as well, so I couldn't resist getting that. And then 2 more. I've got Call Her Mine by Melissa Foster, which is book number 1 in the Harmony Point series. Again, Melissa Foster writes contemporary romance. And then the last one on this list is American Queen by Sierra Simone, which is book number 1 in the new Camelot series. And on the Wicked Wallflowers Club podcast, they were talking about Sierra Simone and how great her writing is, and this one came up as quite cheap. I think it was 99p, so I picked up a copy of that. I've been trying to rush through the last little bit of that because my camera battery is flashing at me. So I managed to make it to the end, and hopefully this video isn't too long. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. Have you read any of the books that I've mentioned today? What did you think of them? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.